What's up, agents? Jetforth here, and today they released their second wave of patch notes for the PTS. Now, let me be very blunt and very forefront on this, if you will, is that I agree with almost all of these changes that are happening, and in a way I actually agree with this and what kind of set me off. Because the last thing in the world that I wanted to have to do in this game was rebuild all of my builds. I didn't want to have to do that again. If it was balanced already, and say we were going to a world tier 6 of an already balanced game, and to go in there and we had to rebuild our builds or upgrade them, I'd be okay with that. But the fact that they cannot balance their game after 6 months of it being out, and then we are being outed because of these changes like this, I'm not okay with it. I've thousands of hours into this game, let alone that plus the time of making videos and as a content creator, whatever, if you want to call me that, whatever, that the amount of time invested in here, it just gets wiped out. Now, maybe I may be more frustrated than most people are because of that very reason of putting my builds up on YouTube for you guys to use as a blueprint, recreate, or manipulate, or however you want it. But these talent changes, a basic gear talent or whatever, the changes they're making to them, literally makes all of the builds that I've put up on YouTube and my own personal builds that I haven't even put up there that I just use for myself are completely screwed now because of this. Now, it's not that I don't agree with these changes. Most likely, if anything, this does help with the balance. But this is something that needed to be slowly introduced, I think, personally. Not just, like I said in the previous video that I did about the PTS patches, this is TU6, TU7, TU8. Now we're going on TU10 with these changes. So here's what it is, okay? Talent changes, basic gear talents. All basic gear talents are changing to be a unique equip, meaning they will not stack with duplicates of themselves on other pieces of gear. So that's pretty self-explanatory. So meaning we cannot stack hard hitting anymore. Can't stack devastating, can't stack whatever, destructive, you name it. Now they did boost them up and doubled their values, which is fine. But the problem is that it destroys builds. We have to rebuild everything again. And I can't even reuse half the gear that I already have because I already freaking recalibrated and modified it. Most of my min-max gear is pretty much useless now. What they should have done in this as like a sense of good faith maybe is be like, all right, leave your gear the way that it is and we'll take the unmodified, we'll take the modified off of it. That's your gear. So that way your mid-max gear that you spent thousands of hours trying to get, and you can roll the damage to elites off it, or you can roll destructive off of it, or, you know, if you have duplicated gear. But seriously, with all these changes, I agree with 99.9% of them, and the only thing I disagree with is having my builds be destroyed again. And they have to know, out of all the community feedback and being able to target looting out and this and that, how much work all of us dedicated players have put into this game to get the gear that we have for it to be destroyed again. It's just, I am so frustrated with this. Like I said, though, I agree with this game needs to be fixed. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be changed. And honestly, when I first read these patch notes, it was like 8:30 in the morning and I was one eyeballing my cell phone because, yeah, it was really bright. And the main thing I was into it was about all the weapon balancing, assault rifle buffs and light machine gun nerfs and buffs and marksman rifles and mainly the SMGs, how high those are coming up. Like that's fantastic stuff. But the last thing in the world I wanted to do was have to rebuild builds. Easing into TU6 with all these changes, new talents, new everything. I don't want it. Oh, it's so frustrating. I am so frustrated. This is the last thing I wanted to have to deal with in this game, is having my builds be destroyed. Literally all of them. All of them. I either stack destructive, hard hitting. They're all stacked. Like, all those pieces of gear are garbage now, and I got to refarm for them. You know? I don't know, man. This is just... this wasn't the time to do this. I mean, I get this game needs to be fixed, but... oh, my dear Lord. I didn't want to deal with this. And I know this sounds like I'm complaining, I'm whining, I'm this, I'm that. But man, I have like 1,500 hours in this game, countless videos about it. So even when I'm not playing the Division, I'm still concentrating on the Division, making videos. So much of my life has been put into this game that, man, I just don't want to do it again. Literally, the best thing I can ask for, if any developer in Massive sees this, seriously, throw us a bone and take any of the gear that's modified with these talents on it and take off the modified wrenches symbol on it so we can roll our pieces off out of our awesome gear that we spent thousands upon hours farming for to put builds together. Like that I would praise you for. I absolutely would. But other than that, you literally destroyed all of my builds. Pretty much all of them. All of them have stuff stacked on them like that. And that just really frustrates me. This is the one thing that I did not want to happen with TU6, was having to rebuild again. It would be okay to rebuild into the future, but the sheer fact that you're still figuring out how to balance your game, that's not okay. And this is like the 4th time it's happening in a 6-month period. I do not think that is okay. I am not okay with that. I don't care what anybody says. I am not okay with that. It's not building into the future. It's not progressing in the game. It's just, I am paying with thousands of hours of game time for your mistakes and not being able to balance your game. And I am borderline, and have been borderline, wanting to quit this game. And this just does not help at all. And judging by the comments on the post I put up, it doesn't help anybody either, except for like 3 people or so who are either sick of negativity or their builds aren't affected by this. And I don't want to be negative. I'm generally not a hugely negative person, but this is a video game, and this video game is becoming not fun when stuff like this happens. And even though a lot of people take the Division seriously, this is too serious for me when it frustrates me and upsets me like this. It is literally a waste of time. This is a waste of time to have to go through and do all this again. And the whole targeting of gear is a fantastic thing, but now that we can target gear, you added in like another 60 things in there to farm for. So that needs to be settled down as well. So when you're in an area and the mission has knee pads and that part of the level is, say, Petrov, then that area with that mission needs to drop just Petrov knee pads, not any sort of knee pads, specifically those knee pads. That would be a little redeeming at this point, but it's not like that. So I don't know. I'm going to shut up because I'm seriously, this really irritates me to high hell. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. This is stupid. Seriously, they need to unmodify our gear that's the only saving grace I see at this point. Like, comment, subscribe, all that other junk. I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace.